I recently purchased a Minc machine, and I've used it easily enough for cards and gift tags, but I'm at a loss as to how to use it on my scrapbook pages. I have plenty of foil, so it seems only right to make this investment work for all my paper crafting, including my layouts. Glitter Girl, can you help?
Of course I can. Today I'm going to use the Minc machine on some journaling cards to go with a layout that includes one 4x4 photo and two handmade fish. And I decided I would put some little metallic fish onto my journaling cards. So he chose this blue foil from the craft bin at the museum when we made these, and I thought it would work to have blue foil on the journaling cards. So what I did was to take a little fish shape and put it all over a sheet of normal plain paper, run that through the printer, and then figure out where would be nice for those fish to be on top of the journaling cards. And I just adhered the journaling cards to the paper and then ran it through again. Now, the Minc machine, you have a few options for how you come up with the design to attach the foil. So you can buy ready-made products for the Minc. In fact, there is a set of 4x6 cards in the Starshine collection that come ready with the toner already in the design. And you can just choose the color of foil and send it through your Minc and customize the metallic foil that you're going to use. But you can also, you don't have to use something that's pre-made. You can make your own. What you'll need is something that's a toner print, not an inkjet print. So when I print my photos, I'm printing with an inkjet printer, not toner. But if I use a laser printer or I go and use a photocopy machine, then those things have toner. So I have a very, very inexpensive bottom-of-the-line laser printer that essentially I just use for foiling. They're much less expensive than I ever thought. And if you had a group of you that were scrapbooking or crafting together from time to time, I would think that it was definitely something where you could all put in £5 or $5 and have one to share between you if nobody had a laser printer they could use at home or work. Okay, or you can go, if you just want to use it for a few things, you can go and have it, just make a copy at home on your home printer and then take it to the photocopy store and say, I want it on this paper. That'll work too. Or you can use the ready-made stuff. And there are a few things that I got to try at CHA, but I don't have in my hands just yet, that are other mediums that you can use it. So now there's a reactive mist. So if you want droplets that you could foil, you can do that. There's a screening ink if you like screen printing or using it a bit more like a paint. There's a pen, all sorts of goody things like that. I'm going to turn on my Minc and get going. On the back of the machine there are two switches. One of them changes the direction of the rollers to go forward or backward in case you ever get stuck. The other one is power. So you turn it on and then you have a big gold button here in the middle, and that takes you through the different settings. If you're buying pre-made products, you'll find the temperature setting on the product, on the packaging, but the default is a 3. 0 is no heat at all. 5 is the hottest it will go. While it's red, it's still heating up, and when it's ready, it will beep at me and it will go green. 3 is the default for a normal weight of craft paper. You go to a lighter heat, or not such a high heat, so a lower number, for something that's more delicate like vellum. And you'll need to go higher for something that's really thick and bulky, like to make it soak into the texture of a watercolor paper. But most things, if they're just normal cardstock weight, will be 3. Then I need 2 things in addition to my toner copy. So I have my journaling cards here. These are Project Life cards that I've just sent through the laser printer with my little fishies. Okay. And I have, oh, now it's ready. Okay, so that's how quickly it gets ready. Then I have this plastic folder that I'm going to send through the machine. And I'm just going to pop those in the middle there. And then there are all different colors of foil that you can choose from. And solids and also a holographic and some ombre options. And I'm just going to cut a piece to cover all the fish. Now, it's blue on one side, it's not colored on the other side. Make sure your blue is facing, or your whatever color you're using is facing up, because that's what's going to show. Yeah. Smooth it down. Make sure that there's no toner, no black showing that isn't covered by foil, because if you do, then it's just going to stick to the folder, and you'll always have this little mark. That's okay. It won't do anything disastrous, but try to prevent that, and then you're good to go. Okay, so you just get it started by it's whirring away in there. So as soon as the folder hits the wheels, then you don't need to do anything. It just does it all on its own. And it's going to go all the way through the machine and then come out the other side. This is the model that does the full 12 by 12, or if you wanted to do multiple folders, you could go longer in this direction, but you've got the 12-inch width here. If that is something that is well beyond your space or your needs, there is a mini Minc, which is a 6-inch width, just in case that helps you with any decisions you might make for your own gadgetry. It does get warm, but not exceptionally hot, and it does have an auto shut off feature, so if you go away and you leave it on and you forget about it, it is going to turn itself off. And in fact, if you're still using it, it's going to turn itself off to cool down, but then you can turn it right back on after it's just had a moment to cool down. Do, do, do. Okay. So then I open my folder and I pull off the foil and I have my metallic fish on my journaling cards. That simple to use the Minc to customize my own supplies. Now, these have adhesive on them from the way I sent them through the printer. It is not necessary to have adhesive, in fact it's probably less than ideal, to have adhesive through in the folder, because now I've just heated up that adhesive and they are well and truly stuck to the folder, but you can see that they are coming off. It's not too much trouble. But don't think that you have to glue them there. You really don't. Okay, so that's the foiling done. Now I have my shiny metallic fish, and I'm going to make my layout with these metallic fish and those lovely, unique, little handmade fish. I'm using papers from Bella Boulevard today, and these two are from the Color Chaos collection, and the other one is from Sand and Surf. And this has been in my stash for a while now, and it's a wave pattern, which I'm not even sure why I picked this one out. Maybe because I like the color and the other side had a geometric, so I kept thinking I would use it, but I think I pulled it out a few times and then put it back. And wave patterns are not something I use a lot because I don't tend to have a lot of beach photos. However, this photo, in addition being fish themed, the picture is from a maritime museum, so the fish going along with the theme of the museum and the embellishment and everything, it just seemed like this was another way that I could use that wave paper. I think the pattern, however, is quite busy and cutesy, and I'd rather have it just as a subtle pattern, so I'm going to put it in the background as a frame, and then I think I'll use this multicolored pattern in the middle and put the yellow near the photo. I chose this yellow with the stripe because they're kind of louvered doors in the background, and I thought the two textures went together well. Okay, so this one into a slightly smaller box so that I maintain that wave frame around the edges. And then yellow as I go. Okay. I think maybe the yellow is a horizontal strip, so I'll do that about 4 inches. I'm going to go right the way across the page. There we go. So now I have these large elements. I have one photo, I have the two fish. I think the blue one can go further down the page because that's a little heavier than the yellow and white. And I have my journaling cards. This journaling card is going to go that direction. And I kind of like the idea that this card could, where the fish are going off the edge, that edge could be layered like that. That means maybe this one needs to come right to an edge too. Or maybe this one comes in a little bit, but there'll be some embellishment and I might end up covering up that fish. That would be okay. Just going to use some small angles. And a photo. Now, these awesome fish. They're both going the same direction. I think that one, it can fit right there where he's going to, if I move him down a bit, you see how I end up with this gap here, but also this gap. But if I move him up a little bit, then I get that nice effect where it's going to go across several layers. And I think this one, with all its metallic blue, can go on some pop dots to overlap the other fish just a little bit and give some dimension to that whole piece. Okay, dimensional fish. Going right about here, which does give me some trap space below here, but I still have lots of things I want to add, so I might end up with some small letter stickers or something in there. And then it does overlap here, it overlaps this fish, it goes from the yellow to the multi into the blue. Yeah, so all the major page elements that are all these large pieces of paper that I wanted to include are there, and now I can have, I know how much space I have to add my title, to add my embellishment, to add my journaling, and I can just kind of have fun from here on out because I know the stuff that I really wanted to get on the page has its place and there's plenty of room. For my title, I'm going to use a mix of brush lettering and letter stickers. So I'm just going to swap the layout for some plain white cardstock. And I'm going to try both of these colors. A blue because that's a bit obvious, I've added lots of blue already, but also a green because there's a green in the background and I'm not quite sure which I will prefer. And it's only one word, so it's just easier to try both. Put it next to the layout and see which one I like better. So this is Peeled Paint is the green and Mermaid Lagoon is the blue, and I'm just going to add a couple drops of water to both of those on the acrylic block. And I'm using quite a wide water brush. We'll see if I can dot the I with a tiny fish. Because why not? Maybe add another little fish here in this space. So Nothing very fancy. A little triangle for the tail. And then a little ellipse. There we go. Okay, so there's my green, or my blue, and then onto the green. Thought this could be a fun word to do in the brush letters because it's almost all wide down strokes on the page. So it's quite a bold word when you write it out that way. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry and then see which color I like best with the layout. I prefer this combination to have the green letter stickers and the blue brush letters. The green this is going to even out a little bit because it's not quite dry, but it's a bit more uneven and the fish are quite messy compared to these. So I like this nice blue. I'm going to just cut this out with just a rounded silhouette around the words with my scissors. And then I think this should fit right about there, or it could come up here. No, because the reason I'm thinking no to this is that this shape then makes me want to put it here so that it frames this corner, and then I've lost the anchor entirely. So let's go to this side. And I'll try my best to make it work without covering up his head. I think that will still be legible even though I'll have to take off a little bit right there on the edge. That's okay. My only thought here is that I do wish I'd perhaps chosen a different color of journaling card there. I'm not sure that I love the white cardstock on the white cardstock, but I don't dislike it enough that I'm going to change it all now. And these are October Afternoon letter stickers. They come in a little set where you get 2 different styles of alphabet stickers in the same color. And they're in the Daily Fresh collection. Okay, and I know that I have this space here to deal with, so I think I will go ahead and use these letter stickers to put the date there. That should work out well. Wasn't convinced about the idea of adding my black journaling pen when everything here is so light and colorful, and so I went through all the blue pens that I have and none of them were a good match, so instead I've gone with a colored pencil, and I'm going to use that for the journaling right after I fix what I just broke. on this fish. Sorry, fishy. Okay, and then I just tried to get it as sharp as possible so that I'll have a good chance of being able to write on the lines like normal. It won't be nearly as small as a pen. For the embellishment, I thought I'd bring out those colors in the background a little bit more with a few different washi tapes. I have this bigger one with green arrows. I can just get it started. And then I've got quite a few different little narrow ones. I know I want some embellishment over here. I think maybe 2 will fit right there. And then I'm going to go on the diagonal and put a few arrows over here. And I'd like to get the embellishment near those little fish here, or these fish, so that I could add some little enamel dots as if they were bubbles. Just for the illustration style, not for the scientific accuracy. But I thought the waves and this pattern in the background kind of would make all that work. Okay, and then some narrow ones. Just going to pile up the tape. And the narrow ones here are a mix. Some of them are from Tiger, and some of them are from a set by Amy Tan. These 3 are from that set. That's an Amy Tangerine set. And some orange. Oh, just lots of layers of tape. Okay, and so I've been doing 2 here, 2 spots with lots of tape, and these yellow and green colors were already in the layout, but the orange is the one that is new, basically. And I thought then I would use that orange to create a triangle around the stuff that's important, so that I can bring your eye back down the page a little bit. Because normally when we're scrapbooking, we are zoned right into the photo, and everything is based on getting you to look at the photo, and all of my design is to get the photo in the center of the embellishment so that it trains your eye into the middle. And here I want the photo to be your focus, but I also want you to see that these are the actual fish that are in the photo. That's exciting. And it's a little different than what's on most of my scrapbook pages. So I think I will also bring some of this down to this edge. And maybe I won't use quite as much, but maybe I bring one big strip of the green. And then some of the orange. And then these enamel dots. Boop. Just kind of going up the page, and then maybe some yellow. And then could I bring that turquoise and the yellow down to this area, and maybe do a little bit of writing just there, maybe a little label. So I'll have a little triangle there with a label. Got just a few. I have one left here, so I might as well use it because I'm not going to use a single one on some other project. So maybe these can go here. So they're just quite dotted about, have a nice little scattered line. A little bit of writing to go here. And then I think I'd like something that has just a little bit more dimension. And you know what it needs to be? I need to bring something with this white cardstock. My issue that I had before about not loving the white textured cardstock on top of the smooth white journaling card could be fixed by having something out of this white cardstock with the blue ink down here. So I will do that and find something that will fit in here. I think my little label punch will come in handy. Punched a medium-sized tag and then just did a little swatch of the color with a bit of the Distress Ink watercolor and a bit of the colored pencil that I'd used for journaling. Going to pop that here in this little grouping and then add a word on top of this. Just one of these tiny little yellow word stickers. And then I think maybe a flare badge that could overlap on top of this where it looks like tape but it's not. And maybe that's the end. I found 2 flare badges that I think will work. I'm going to put the one without writing up here by the title so that it doesn't make the title difficult to read in terms of adding more words to it. And then one over here on the diagonal. And just put this one down there at the bottom. Pick this up so that I can take all that tape over the edge onto the back. And I know I haven't added anything on top of the tape here, but I think that's okay. Sometimes tape on its own can be an embellishment, and I'm quite liking that just on its own because I have all the extra texture here. This is directing your eye in without creating lots of distraction. So I think that will be where I stop today. So you can definitely use a Minc on your scrapbook pages. You can use it with pre-made stuff that you buy just for the Minc, or you can create your own using a laser printer or a photocopier, and then just run it through the machine with any color foil that you would like. If you'd like to ask Glitter Girl a question or share your work or chat about scrapbooking in general, please check out our Facebook chat group, Scrapbook Like a Superhero. It's linked below and it's full of people who love scrapbooking, so we would love for you to join in the conversation. And if you create a page that's inspired by any of Glitter Girl's themes, I'd love for you to shout out about it in the comments on the Facebook group, wherever you would like. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon.